go to the Gospel of Matthew, because it's the Christmas season and era. Like I told you, everything is Christmas, and so I want us to go into the Christmas passages. Let's go to the Gospel of Matthew, chapter number 2. I'm reading from verses number 1 all through 12. It's a long passage because I don't want to talk long. I want to give you the long passage, so it's the other way. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 2. I'm reading from verse number 1. Verse number 1 reads, "Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod," take note of Herod the king, Herod the king, "behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem." Bible says wise men from the east came to Jerusalem. Verse 2, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east, and are come to worship him." And when Herod the king heard it, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ should be born. And they said unto him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written through the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, land of Judah, art in no wise least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come forth a governor, who shall be shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod privately called the wise men, and learned of them exactly what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and searched out exactly concerning the young child. "And when you have found him, bring me word, that I also may come and worship him." And they, having heard the king, went their way. That is this one interesting point. Bible says, "And lo, which they saw in the east, went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, exceeding great joy. And they came into the house and saw the young child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. And opening their treasures, they offered unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh." Last verse 12. "And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into another way." Now, when Jesus was born, Bible says there were wise men from the east. Which part of the east? The Bible did not specify, but wherever the east was, wise men saw a star concerning Jesus, and they made a decision that we want to go and worship this king. And that is the story we are reading now. So this morning I'm sharing something, and I've themed it, "This is the season of worship." This is the season of worship. Listen, it's Christmas, and everywhere people are singing Christmas stories, singing Christmas carols and songs, and telling Christmas, reading Christmas stories to their grandkids and other place. But let me tell you about telling Christmas story. But when seasons of this nature come, it's a time of worship. It's a call to worship God, to every saint, to every soul on earth. It's a season of worship. Now, it's a season we are to come with a heart full of thanksgiving and gratitude and praise. It's a season we are to unto God our substance, our selves, and our body, and our heart, our mind, our whole being. So these seasons that we are in, this December season, and the aroma that we feel all over, is not there for eating, drinking, and making merry, but it's a season that we are to come and worship Jehovah God, our only Messiah, this is the season of worship. So if you can hear my voice, I'm here to tell you that it's season of worship. This morning onward, it's a season of worship. So when you are out there at work, when you are out there in your home and working about, doing your work, doing your job, serving your family, everything that you'll be doing, I want your heart to be lifted up, that you will begin to give unto God what that He has done. What is worship? Worship is extolling God, enthroning Him, declaring His honor, God who He is, telling God how awesome, glorious, and mighty He's been in your life. So it's a time for us to celebrate God, and it's a time for us to honor God. Such is the story we heard. Bible says that now when Jesus was born in the days of Herod the king, which means when Jesus was born, who was king and ruling people's life. Take note of that. Jesus was born, there was somebody on the throne who was ruling many souls, bringing many souls under control, bringing many souls under subjection. There was somebody on the throne who was receiving worship from men, called Herod. It was just at the same time that Jesus was born. And the Bible says when Jesus was born, a star shone forth in the east. And the wise men, there were some wise men. The Bible never said there were 3 wise men. The Bible said they were wise men. But the reason we've made it 3 wise men was because of the gift that was made mention in verse number 10, 11. That when they entered, they gave gift of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That is why we have made it to become like they were 3 wise men. But the Bible said they were wise men. So either they were 3, 5, 20, or whatever. There were wise men in the east. Probably at the time of biblical history, it will probably be Babylon. So which means there were some wise men from some place like Babylon, which is the current day Iraq. They saw, and when they saw the star, they could perceive in the star that this star is about a king that has been born. And look at something. When they saw the star, did not mention that this had any other people or any man, but they gathered together and they said, we want to go to see this king and give him worship. That is why I'm telling you that this season is a season of worship. And look at something. When they saw the star, they never conferred with any man. They never looked to their situation. They never looked to what they have or they don't have. But they gathered their resources, gathered their gifts, and then they set on a journey to Bethlehem to go and worship. They have seen his star. So all the way going, they were following this bright star. Something. Maybe you've never come to that realization. That star was Jesus. Because Bible says in the book of the prophet that he is a bright and morning, that song, that you shine like the morning star. I love that song. Jesus was a bright, and that can lead you into. So when the men saw the star, they began to follow, because the star was Jesus. He began to guide them to the true place of worship. Men were following the star. They followed the star. They followed the star from Iraq, Babylon, for all these days, for the long journey until they came into Bethlehem. Look at something here. They saw the city of Bethlehem, and then they learned that there is somebody on the throne called Herod. And when they got there, they followed the star was changed. Their focus on the star was shifted, and rather they decided to go and seek counsel from mortal man, who is a king on the throne, to go and give that king a worship and to ask of him where they can see the king who has been born. Oh my God, that had guided them to Bethlehem. When they got to Bethlehem and saw another king, they decided to ignore the star that they have followed for the true worship, and to go and to consult men. Let me give you a lesson here, because I don't want to speak long. So it is with our life. Bible says we are to look to Jesus and the finisher of our faith. Child of God, listen to me this Christmas era. If you can hear my voice, I want you to know that if you can enjoy true worship,